Good afternoon, my little busted babies. Welcome to Beyond the Veil. I am Adina, and thank you for being here. I must say that I am doing this reading today despite myself because I want to be consistent to my channel and give you guys consistent context, and this reading was a subscriber request, but do I have my Florida water or did I leave it? Because I'm a little bit in a funk. Somebody rubbed me the wrong way before I came here, and I still haven't been able to shake it yet. I don't think I brought my Florida water, but we're just going to run with this thing anyways. So this is a subscriber request this afternoon. I'm going to be reading Jeffrey Epstein. I feel like spirits are very, very specific to call him Epstein. Epstein is like the American way to pronounce it, and I feel like it was a pet peeve for him to be called Epstein when it's Epstein. So with that being said, I hear that he is no longer with us. So I am going to grab my bell. Give me 1 second. All right, guys, I actually don't have my Florida water or my rose water, but I got this shea butter and coconut oil lotion. So I'm going to use it because the fragrance, it smells really good, and that may help to shift my mood. It's very delightful. I got it for my birthday. Someone gifted it to me. Oh, that smells so good. Let's see if this helps. Helps me get in a better mood, you guys. I hate this feeling that I have, but whatever. All right, so like I mentioned, I hear that Jeffrey Epstein is no longer with us. There are some conspiracy theories around that. I'm just gonna ring him up anyways, whether he is or he isn't, because I feel the need to do so. And I'm going to ring it around my head so that maybe the vibration will give me the protection that I feel like my Florida water does. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. All right, you guys, give me a minute to work through this mental fog so I can find Jeffrey. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. I like to say I see him in my mind's eye, but for some reason it doesn't feel like it's him. I'm looking at him. He's there. But I want to ignore him as if that's not who I'm looking for. It's like I see him in my mind's eye, but it's almost like my spirit is saying that's not him. Keep looking. And I don't have the energy right now to go looking. So So I'm going to probe around whomever showed up for him and see what happens with this reading. This is a first for me. This is a first for me. So I'm going to start flipping cards and then see what the first card says, and then that'll let me know how I want to proceed. Jeffrey Epstein. Before I lay your soul bare, what do you have to say to me? You who stands here as Jeffrey Epstein, what do you have to say to me before I read you, before I look into your soul? The Three of Pentacles. This is very interesting. Somebody helped Jeffrey Epstein escape. Look, y'all. That's why I can't find him, because he ain't dead. This man, this came out first, second, third. This man had help escaping wherever he was. Locked up. If he ever was locked up, in my mind's eye, they took him there for show. But he ain't dead. And I don't think he's locked up either. It's like it's like he had help getting out so that he wouldn't have to speak to the authorities. I don't know if he was supposed to like be taken to a medical unit in prison. I think that he was in like a solitary place where no one knew where he was when he got there, though. I don't know if this was like a diversion was created while he was being moved from one place to another. Jeffrey Epstein was being moved from one place to another, and some type of diversion was created so that he can slip away into a group of people unnoticed. I promise. Allegedly, this is what I'm seeing, because even when I was trying to call him up, I would see him, but then I would also see a bunch of other hymns, a whole crowd of hymns behind him. It's just like, which one is really Jeffrey? Even though the person that I said I saw in my mind's eye was him, for some reason it didn't feel like it was him. Like it was a stunt double. Me thinks that Jeffrey Epstein and maybe even Ghislaine are only locked up in the tabloids, are only locked up for show. I don't know if behind the scenes, if they are currently detained, or if I'm allegedly, I'm for sure that what's his name, Epstein, is not detained right now. He's gotten away. Ghislaine, I'm not sure about her, but that Queen of Cups just showed up. I think that's who that was. We'll see though. Now that I know that Epstein is not locked up, Epstein, from wherever you are in the four corners of the earth, come to me now. He says, you can read me if you don't tell them where I am. Deal. Pinky promise. I will not tell anyone where you are. But I will tell them what you do, what you've done, and who you are. I'm not interested in helping anybody find you because nobody's paid me to do so. All right. Epstein, you are a request from one of my subscribers. Otherwise, I know what you are. I know who you are. I know what you do. He says I'm a businessman, and that's it. That's all. No different from any of the others. Except that I procure a top tier quality product. The younger they are, the better they are. And my clientele have a specific tastes. They like fresh young meat. I am just the middleman. That's what Epstein would like people to know about him. He has been demonized, but in his mind, the people who I procure these women for, these children, these women for, he calls them women. He doesn't distinguish between a woman and a child. A female species is a woman to him, and they're all to be enjoyed, like fruit. He feels like if you only knew, it's the people who I procure these women for are the real monsters. The things that they do to some of them. Some of them never come back, and some of them never come back the same. Epstein. What is the energy of Jeffrey Epstein? What is the soul of Jeffrey Epstein? I would like to see your business affairs, your personal affairs. Whatever you feel like you don't want to tell the feds because the people who you answer to are much more powerful than the feds, tell me. And I'll tell it all. I'll tell your story. I'll tell everything up until the part where you tell me where you are, because wherever you are, you don't want to be found in exile, somewhere hiding. And open Epstein. You know what's funny, you guys? Some of the worst people that I've read are some of my favorite reads. All right. Epstein, let's just talk. May I see the soul of Jeffrey Epstein, the life of Jeffrey Epstein? I am a businessman, like you said, and I procure sex, pleasure. Whatever is your pleasure, that is what I provide, and I am the best at what I do. The challenge is that I've had to run away. Not only have I had to run away, but the challenge is my flight logs. All of this started with my flight logs. That's where I got messed up. Even though I tried, I did everything I could, somebody had to tell, because there's no way that these flight logs would have been made public and this man would have been allowed to be persecuted had someone not told me. Think that someone has to do with President Trump. Methinks this was a war that was fought behind the scenes, and Epstein was a casualty of that war. Recent past. This is your supposed Death or suicide. I'll come back to that. Seven of Wands. Defending yourself. Fighting off. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm trying to concentrate, but my client is texting me. I'm gonna do this reading so I can respond to her. But having to not just defend oneself. Did he go to court? Did he go to trial, which is how he got sentenced? No, he was detained, but he never made it to court. He thinks this is Jeffrey. Give me 1 second on that. This is the alleged suicide. I do not think he's dead, though. The Fool reversed. This is interesting. Ten of Wands reverse, advice and current actions. Let me just lay it out. The Lovers, external energy. Eight of Swords, hopes and fears, jail. Final outcome is the Hermit. This is not the energy of a dead man. This is, methinks, President Trump right here, this Gemini at the bottom. This is deciding it almost feels like before someone else can take me down with them on this, because I'm the president, I have to spill my own tea first, minimize the impact. That's what that feels like. The flight logs were a thing. Way before President Trump became president, because I've seen them years and years and years and years ago, maybe even a decade ago. I've been into this kind of stuff for a very, very, very long time. Things that people call conspiracy theories, I got into when I was like 15, and I've seen many, many, many of them come to pass. So somewhere traveling down a rabbit hole, I came across Epstein. And I've seen his flight logs. So this was a thing even before Trump became president. I'm pretty sure that this had to be cleaned up in order for Trump to be president, so that it wouldn't impede with his election or his presidency. Because even though his name is attached to Epstein, it didn't really impact his presidency. It's not the reason why he was being impeached. It had everything to do with the way he made people feel, but it had absolutely nothing to do with his association to that. And I think that was the goal for Trump and his administration, to just, you be the one to put it out there so that you can control the narrative behind it, so that this doesn't take you down. Let me look into the current energy of Epstein. Yes, 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 yes. I procure all of the devilish, dirty things for my clients who are devilish and dirty. And they're way worse than anything I am. The things that have never been mentioned, that I'll never tell, that the world will never know publicly, is really, really, really what would really turn the world on its head. And his associates that can't be named. The real monsters are his associates. And Epstein's spirit would like for us to know that the real monsters are your heroes, your icons, your idols. Think about the names that we publicly know about that were on that flight log. How many of your faves were on there? How many people of esteem and notoriety, of philanthropic endeavors, academia, entertainment, politics? These are service positions, most of them. You come on. What were they doing there? Epstein would like us to know those are the real monsters, not me. I'm just the businessman. Your idols do things that are unspeakable, that I would not even be able to conceive of. Flight logs were a part of the plan with that Eight of Pentacles. And they, like I mentioned, they've been out publicly for a very, very, very long time. I've seen them when I was a decade ago. Like I said before, they became a thing. So it was definitely betrayal. Someone did not want to get caught up in the fray of it in case it came out any other way. Like I said, President Trump, he did not want that to come out, to be leaked by his opposing side so that they can create a narrative behind it. He'd rather be the one to throw the whole shebang under the bus, that he controls the narrative and nobody can use it against him in his presidency. And to be honest, it feels like it served two separate purposes for Trump. But we shall see. I would like to know what the Five of Cups is, though, in the past. Ghislaine. There is some sadness around her being caught up in this on Epstein's part. His equal partner. And she was never supposed to be brought up in any of this. Even before him, she wasn't supposed to be brought up in any of this. Methinks her father, even though he's not alive, he was a very, 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 very powerful man. And Ghislaine is probably still attached to more powerful people than Epstein. She is the power player. She changed the game for him in his industry, his business, because of her connections. She was never supposed to be involved in this. She was never supposed to be named and brought up in this, and methinks that Epstein feels regret and remorse because their business dealings, their relationship was supposed to stay intact. And even if everything else came out about him, she was the silent partner that was never supposed to get caught up, because even if he went away, she could have still ran things behind the scenes, because no one would have even known that she was an equal partner in this. Actually, why does this feel like her business? Like her business. Look, this feels like hers, her empire. I don't know if it started out as his, but once they partner with each other, because like I mentioned, he might have only been able to do so much, but she opened up the doors for him. She got him into the rooms that he couldn't get into. She got him access to the upper elite, the secret elite. These are names and people that we, the general public, don't even know about. These are people who would never allow themselves to be named in Time magazine or Forbes because their whole brand is built on their secrecy. Their life is built on their secrecy. These are the people who run the world, so they have to remain in the shadows and let the actors on the stage be the ones that we think run the show, but they're not. Ghislaine brought these people because it's who she comes from. It's her pedigree. Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands. Epstein. What is this? Oh, you guys notice I got new cards? Thank you to my subscriber. Thank you to my subscriber. Melissa, I appreciate you, my dear. All right. The Tower. King of Cups. Nine of Pentacles. That was Epstein attempting to defend himself once the whole thing came up. But that feels a little bit different than just defending yourself from authorities. I don't get a lot of threat from authorities in here, even though I see the presence of them in here, because this Eight of Swords in Epstein's hopes and fears was jail. Why do I feel like that was his hopes? Like, I wish I could have went to jail. Okay. No, this man is not dead, allegedly. He was taken from wherever he was so that he wouldn't have to answer in court. Why do I feel like Ghislaine and him are reunited? Has anybody seen her lately? These people, first of all, me thinks that they actually are not in being held somewhere. I don't even think Ghislaine is. Me thinks that they are somewhere in exile, in isolation. But these are people that who they are not. They had help getting out, both of them. And I don't care if we get glimpses of Ghislaine being shuffled around in some kind of courtroom setting every now and then. They are acting. This is the energy that I get from my cards. These are acting to put on a show to the American people that something is being done about this travesty, but it's not, because who's going to be the one to prosecute them? Their friends? Are y'all serious? I'm looking at his hopes and fears jail, because I was trying to figure out if he hoped he went to jail or if he hoped that he didn't go to jail. I think he hoped that he went to jail because then he can get back to running his business. As long as people think he's in jail, then they're fine, and nobody is looking to sniff around him anymore, especially if he's dead. This man, allegedly, with this fake suicide, allegedly, is still quietly, and this is the final outcome, doing what he's always been doing. Because people think he's dead. So who's going to suspect the business to still be running if both he and Ghislaine are out of the game? No. This is just what we're supposed to think. That he's not alive. But him and Ghislaine are together. Him and Ghislaine are together. They're not dead. No one would ever allow them to die. They just allow the American people to think so. No one would ever do that to them. No one would ever. You want to know why? I'll tell you after this train. If you promise not to tell anyone where I am, I'm not going to tell that part. I know exactly where Epstein is, and it's not any place where he's dead. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you, Epstein. He says, my pleasure. He doesn't care. This is a businessman. This is a businessman. All right, you guys. To summarize this, Jeffrey Epstein is not unalived. He's not incarcerated. That was a play. Theatrics that were put on for the people because the people were requesting something be done. And you know, anytime the people request something be done, we'll give them a show a little bit to make them think that we hear them, that we care, just to get them to shut up so that we can continue doing what we're doing. That business is a cornerstone of the corporation of the United States. That business that was being run by Epstein and Ghislaine, it's bigger than all of us watching this, according to the people who run it. What that industry is cemented into society, ingrained, and has been a part of the world's economy. It fuels all of the luxuries that we have, allegedly according to the people who run it. This is what they want us to know. All of the luxuries that you have are being funded and fueled by the very same thing that you hunt us down for. Which is why these people will not be allowed to be persecuted. And they put on a show so that whoever was sniffing them out, Trump, because that was a double entendre for you. Not only did you throw them under the bus to minimize your own impact, but there was also a little war going on behind the scenes. You were trying to drain the swamp, as you say. Drain the swamp. You were trying to dismantle the shadow government. And that's why they made war against you. And that's why they used the American people against you. and the media against you because you were trying to drain the swamp. And this has been a swamp that's been running and functioning for presidents and presidents and presidents past. And don't think Obama wasn't one of the alligators in that swamp, because he was. Trump tried to prosecute all of those people. And he created a lot of enemies with them, and they got them on out and put somebody old and decrepit in there so that they wouldn't have no resistance to their plans anymore. He can barely breathe. Biden can barely breathe, so he would never give them any of the headache that Trump did once he got in there. But this is why Epstein is not dead, and he's not being detained, and I don't think Ghislaine is either, because this business has to continue running. Do you know how many other businesses, how many industries, how many countries would probably fall, how many wars would break out if it wasn't for this business that Ghislaine and Jeffrey were involved in? And it's bigger than just children. It's bigger than just what they were doing, you know, having sex with minors. These are very, 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 very powerful rituals done with ancients. Wherever these locations are that they were traveling to, there were beings. I see caves. I see knowing locations where beings are, ancient beings are trapped underneath the earth. And they go and commune with them and offer things to them. Some people call them fallen angels. Some people call them aliens. Call them what you want, but this is what I see. Some of those children were given as offerings to them, experiments to them. This is bigger than just sex, drugs. This is bigger. So whatever the American people need to hear or see in order to back off of that topic, they'll give it to you. But Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein are still running their business. I actually want to pull an oracle. A new start is coming, and a new start came. A new start, because everybody thinks Epstein is dead now. So he has free reign to do a lot more things now that he's supposedly a dead man. This empowered him. That fake suicide empowered him. Because he's a ghost now, so he can move as he pleases, do as he pleases, undetected. It was genius. Look, both of these are new moon cards, very powerful cards. Expect powerful change. The worst thing ever was prosecuting them, was making their business public, because it gave them the golden out. Once it became public, and now that it's out in the open and people are aware about it, now all we got to do is make them think that the people who are running it are dead. And now it's put to bed. But it's not. It empowered them. And getting Trump out of office cemented that power structure. If Trump comes back, that could be one of the new starts that's coming. I see that he's trying to come back. I don't see that happening too easily. Because they've been so empowered since they allegedly got rid of Epstein and Ghislaine and got rid of Trump. And now the new phase with Netanyahu, it's a wrap. For anybody trying to save the United States, listen, save yourselves. Save yourselves. Because the power changes, the power moves have been made. And it's cemented. And in regards to Epstein, since this reading is on him, allegedly the man is not dead. I can allegedly promise you that. All right, you guys. Love you. Bye.